Welcome to Your Vote Counts, a candidate forum sponsored by Capital Community Television and the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties. My name is Janet Adkins, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, a nonpartisan political organization that works to educate our members and the public about government issues. In this program, we will sponsor the candidates for the Legislative House District 22. They are alphabetically Teresa Alonzo Leon and Patty Milne. Our format for this forum is as follows. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to give an opening statement outlining the candidate's background, qualifications, and top 3 priorities if elected. Following that, each candidate will be given a minute and a half to answer questions that have been prepared by League members on current issues. The candidates were not given these questions ahead of time. At the end, the candidates will each have 2 minutes to make a closing statement, a time in which to state the legacy they would like to leave if elected to the office. Prior to this taping, we drew for seating in question order, and that will rotate. So we will begin with Ms. Leon as for her opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Janet. And I want to thank the League of Women Voters for this amazing opportunity to talk about my campaign and my candidacy. I grew up in Woodburn, and I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college. I started my professional career advocating for students and helping them find their path to academic success. Everywhere I've worked, I've had people tell me, Teresa, you've made an impact in our lives, and you made a difference. Though I moved away to go to college and start my professional career, I chose to come back to Woodburn because I wanted to give back to my community, and I wanted to be close to my family. Now I serve on the Woodburn City Council. And now, actually, I want to take my city council experience and run as a state representative because I want to get Salem's priorities straight and create a government that's accountable. I think there's too many politicians in Salem that don't have their priorities straight and have the best interest of our students and working families, senior citizens, and small businesses. We need to put working families first. We need to make sure that we strengthen the partnership with our businesses and industry and our education system so that we have a well-qualified workforce. We need to reduce the influence of special interests and big money in government to ensure that funding is directed where it's needed most, which is our students, making college affordable and building strong training programs so that our local businesses can grow. I have achieved my American dream through education and hard work, and I want to ensure that all other Oregonians achieve their American dream. I'm really passionate about education and making sure that we put more resources into our education system. I want to make sure we have a fair economy and that men and women are making the same wages. And I want to make sure that we take care of our senior citizens and that they're not forgotten and that they grow old with dignity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Patty Milne.
Hi. Hello, I'm Patty Milne, and I'm running for State Representative, House District 22. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and CCTV for this opportunity to make this information available to the voters. House District 22 includes Woodburn, where my husband and I have lived for 32 years. We raised our family there and grew our businesses, and we were actively engaged, have been still in the community and serving the public. The district also includes Jervis and Brooks and comes into the north part of Salem. As a mother and a grandmother, I know that you and I all want the same things for our families. We'd like to have a world-class education for every student. We'd like to have safe neighborhoods with healthy choices, alternatives for kids to thrive, and a local economy that increases job opportunities, high-wage job opportunities, and the ability for hard-working families to keep more of their hard-earned money. As both a public and a private school board member, I always put the students' best interests first. Now, I also cared very much that the teachers have the tools and the resources they need in the classroom. But always it's important to remember that parents are the first and the foremost teacher in a child's life. As a legislator, I passed legislation to fight against domestic violence and hold offenders accountable. I passed legislation that helped low-income families with health care insurance. I served as chair of the House Education Subcommittee and also chair of the Human Resources Committee. As a county commissioner, I fought against drug and alcohol abuse by instituting, creating, striking out meth in Marion and Polk counties. My interest in veterans was critical in forming the Marion County Veterans Task Force. Through the years, however, my passion has always been for the most vulnerable among us, and that means being a champion for the rights of victims of domestic and sexual violence, at-risk kids, seniors, veterans, and of course the homeless. Another passion that I've had over the years in public service is the importance in putting people over politics. I'm running to serve my fellow Oregonians. I'm running for common sense policies that will help our state and our working families prosper. I thank you again for this opportunity, and I ask for your vote.
Thank you both. Our first question, and it will be first answered by Patty Milne. First question is, in recent years, the legislature has dedicated more funding for early childhood as well as higher education. Yet, Oregon continues to have many low-performing schools, one of the shortest school years in the nation, and according to some analyses, the fourth worst dropout rate. What legislation would you support to address these issues?
We do put a lot of money into all aspects, as you mentioned, Janet, early childhood, higher ed, and much of the focus seems to be we need more money for K through 12, and of course now preschool education. And it really is important, but as I said earlier, we really need to remember that the first and the best teacher is the parent. There are a lot of community programs, such as Healthy Start, which is an old program. We have Family Building Blocks, and we have other programs similar to that that come through the community. They are nonprofit organizations, and they serve a tremendous role in the education of the children. Being ready for kindergarten is very important. What has happened, as you mentioned, we have the fourth worst graduation rate in the nation. Absenteeism is horrible, and those are some of the things that we're not addressing. What we can do, and we need to make sure that students are in the classroom longer, we need to lengthen the school year. Part of the solution to that is the numerous array of educational opportunities, as I mentioned, that are not available to every student. In Salem, the Salem Kaiser Career Tech is a wonderful model that needs to be expanded. It's great here for Salem. It doesn't help our kids in Woodburn and Jervis. There are virtual schools. There are numerous programs that can help keep kids in school and provide those programs that meet their special interests. So we need to expand those. We need to work together. Educators don't have a hold on it. We need to involve the parents, businesses, and other community organizations to strengthen these opportunities for our students.
Thank you. Teresa?
Yes, so I've been working in education pretty much my adult career. I've worked through nonprofits as a retention coordinator and also developed parent engagement programs, and worked in higher ed, working with first-generation students, and also working for the state as the high school diplomacy and GED administrator. Yeah, we definitely acknowledge that we have a challenge ahead of us in respect to making sure that our education system strengthens. How can we fix that? I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Some of the things that I think are important to do is absolutely working in partnerships with other organizations. I think that working in partnerships with the business industry, it's really important that we work collaboratively, because it's important that we prepare our students for the different skill sets that are needed out in the industry. As the high school diplomacy and GED administrator, I've developed a collaborative effort in a professional development program for our GED educators, and now we have one of the highest graduation rates with the GED program.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The second question, and we'll begin with Mr. Alonzo Leon. Some feel that partisan gridlock is interfering with the ability to achieve legislation that benefits the people of Oregon. Do you believe that perception is justified, and what, if anything, can you do to change that perception or reality?
That's a great question. There is definitely a gridlock, but I think that there's opportunity for partnerships and opportunity to work together. I think that we need to have a sit down. We need to come together around a table and have those very serious and important discussions. You know, in my history and the work that I've done, particularly with the GED program, when I first came on board, nobody knew me from the wall, and we knew that we had a huge task ahead of us, which was to transition from the old GED test to the new GED test. And one of the things that I did that I thought was really important is to bring people together to plan and organize a GED summit, to bring everybody's voices together and discuss how can we move our students forward. And that's people who didn't know me, and everybody made that common decision that it was true. We needed to come together, and we did. And we now are preparing for our third GED summit, and we bring over 300 people at the summit across the board. This is tutors all the way to administrators together to discuss our common goal, and that's to make sure that our students are graduating from their GED.
Thank you. Patty?
Oregonians are very proud that we have a citizen legislature, and I'd like to see it stay that way. But partisanship really has affected the ability of the legislature to deal with the major issues, and it's time that we bring balance back to the process, and that's what I'm able to do along with the experience I've had. There are any number of issues that everyone wants to deal with, but too many special interests are getting in the way of projects, programs and services that really affect all Oregonians. But major issues like transportation, solving the PERS problem are not being addressed, and those must be addressed. I've been very disturbed to hear so many people who have been involved in the legislative process talk about this lack of congeniality and disrespect for the process. I had the pleasure and the honor to serve in the 90s when there was more congeniality and a respect for. You'd go into that, into the house there, and there was a decorum and respect for the process, and that seems to be lost in recent years. And bringing that back to the process, respecting differing opinions, come back to the middle to solve our problems, put the partisan differences aside, and we will do the work of the people.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is, how do you view the current state of foster care in Oregon, and what should the new director's role be? And we'll start with Patty Milne.
Oh, what has happened in recent years in the Department of Human Services? The awareness that hundreds of children in foster care had been abused, I think, is one of the most egregious, unacceptable things that has happened in state government in many years. And to learn later that the department head knew about this and nothing was done. We talk about children are the most important, our most important resource, and that it's all about the children, and yet all those children who were abused, neglected, it's just unacceptable. And there's been so much in state government of just moving different people to different positions. And there has been the focus from the state is, well, we'll tighten up and we're going to keep a rein on foster homes. While there may be problems in individual foster homes, I think the change needs to come from the top, and there needs to be accountability. The administration needs to be held accountable, and there needs to be more transparency of how foster children and foster families are the oversight that's given in those situations.
Thank you. Teresa?
Yes, I agree. We definitely need to fix that department. I think the new director has a lot of work ahead of him. I come from program development background, and one of the things that I think he needs to do is definitely restructure the whole program and the way it runs. Obviously, there's a lot of need to focus on training and development, both from the staff, for the staff themselves, and also for families. I think that when we consider working with foster children, they have amazing needs, and they need a lot of love and support, and we need families who are out there who are willing to do that and to give them that love and support. But we need to have an infrastructure that can provide that information, provide that training, provide that they're able to have the support teams available, counselors, all the resources that are needed to really support the students, the families, the children that they're fostering. But that's definitely an area that I think we can do a better job. I'm really disappointed with how it was handled, and I'm really excited about a new director who I think is going to do a better job. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is about transportation. The legislature has responsibility for a transportation infrastructure package. How should this be developed, and what elements should be included? Teresa?
Yes, I think we definitely need to work on a transportation package. We need to fully fund it. I was disappointed that we weren't able to pass it in the last session, and I think that this is a great opportunity when I become a legislator that I will make that one of my priorities. I think that we need to make sure that our bridges and our roads are strong. I want to make sure that our children go to school and feel safe and know that I know a lot of parents want to feel comfortable and know that their children are going to make it to school and from school. So certainly we need to have more conversations around how that's going to be paid and how we're going to figure that out. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to having discussions. I'm open to collaborating and working with others. But I really do think that we need to make sure that we make this issue a priority issue for this session.
Thank you. Patty?
Oh, a transportation package is necessary. Too many projects have been put off for far too long. And we can talk about the Woodburn Interchange. As I said, I've lived in Woodburn for more than 32 years, and I sat on I don't know how many different committees over that period of time to bring that project to fruition, to finally have it. And I made the comment many times that I probably wouldn't live long enough to see it happen. So I acknowledge I'm here to see that it's finished, and it's a great project. And it was much needed for the economic development in our community, and not just in our community, but up and down the state, up and down the I-5 corridor. Transportation is more, however, than just the roads. And it also has to do with our ability for the safety. If there were some emergency and our bridges are not at load capacity, that's a real problem. So bridges are very important. Also, ports. Our farmers can't get their product where it needs to go through the ports any longer, and now it's costing them more money to put it on trucks and rail and do that. So our economy, statewide economy, the economy in House District 22 very much relies on having a sufficient and adequate and a good road system and a good overall transportation system.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question. Do you think the balance between individual and corporate taxes is appropriate? And please relate this to your vision of an ideal Oregon tax structure.
The balance between?
Yes, the balance between the individual and the corporate tax.
Well, to answer your question directly, we could be here a long, long time today. Oregon has a taxing system that is not like any other state. And that makes it, therefore, very difficult to say we could do it like California, Oregon, Idaho, whatever state you want to pick on. And taxing, whether it's taxes for individuals, depending on your individual circumstance, your taxes may be very easy to do by yourself, or you may need an accountant to help you wade through it. And the same goes for businesses. And there are the various different businesses are formed in different manners, corporations, partnerships, et cetera, et cetera. And the laws are becoming so complicated that your tax return is several inches thick. To simply answer, is there a good balance, that's not the way to get to a solution of what is the best tax system for Oregonians and the way to support our schools and take care of our other services. It's a discussion that ought to take place of how we can have a more fair, a better balanced system to carry on things. I do want to mention, though, this gets into the topic of Measure 97, which I do not support. It is the wrong answer to fund state government.
Okay, thank you.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah, sure. Do you think the balance between individual and corporate taxes is appropriate in Oregon? And please relate this to your vision of an ideal Oregon tax structure.
Sure. As Patty mentioned, this is kind of going into the realm of Measure 97. And I do think that through Measure 97, we'll have additional revenue coming into our system. Our education system, we talked about it, it's one of the fourth worst graduation rates in the country. We definitely need to make sure that we have funding to support our senior citizens and healthcare. And we are absolutely paying into our tax system, but our large corporations are not. They're not paying their fair share. And I think it's very important that that we support the idea that they pay their fair share, because otherwise it's all of us that are paying into our education system, and we definitely need more funding to make sure we strengthen it. Once I become a legislator, I'll definitely work towards making sure that when and if Measure 97 passes, that we're going to be able to direct funding into our students, our classrooms, into our healthcare, and into our senior citizens.
Okay. I think that might be the end of our question time. And so we will go to the closing statements. And we will have Ms. Milne do her 2-minute closing statement. Thank you.
Okay. Again, and thank you, Janet, and thank you, Teresa, for being here. Thank you, League of Women Voters and CCTV. I have thoroughly enjoyed public service. It has been a tremendous part of my life. I love serving other people. I love solving problems. And I've had the opportunity to do that as a school board member, as a state legislator, and as a county commissioner. Those experiences give me a very unique perspective on how government entities work together, how they should work together, and also working with, through those experiences, working with community groups, businesses, nonprofits, and et cetera. And I've also, through my community service, know our community very well. I know the nuances from neighborhood to neighborhood. And stepping back now for the last couple of years and being retired has also given me a perspective, again, from the average citizen and what we want from our state government and local representation. And I want to just let the people know that I'm looking forward to serving you once again as your state representative. And it's really important to know that I will serve all of you. Everyone's voice and involvement is important so that we can solve the problems facing our state and help Oregonians, all Oregonians, prosper. Thank you, and I ask for your vote.
Thank you. And Teresa?
Thank you, Janet. So I am really, really excited for this amazing opportunity to serve as your next state legislator. I've served on the city council now for 3 years, and while on the city council, we've had some amazing accomplishments that I'm really proud of. We were able to accomplish the interchange under budget and a year early, so I'm really proud of that. We also were able to expand our urban growth boundary, and that's something that our city was able to accomplish, and not many other cities were able to do that, so I'm really proud of the work we did together. It's really important for me to have an environment where we're very inclusive and it's about community, and one of the suggestions I made while on the city council is to take our city meetings out into the community so that we can engage more people and so that people can feel like they are part of the overall conversation. And it's been an amazing success. We've had our meetings in parks and school libraries, just all over the community. And people have said, Teresa, that is the best idea. That had never happened before. And now I get to walk down the street to come to the meetings. I don't have to drive all the way downtown or wherever we end up going. And I'm really proud of that. As a legislator, I want to be able to do that. I want to make sure that people know that they can come talk to me, that I have an open door policy, and that I will go into the community and talk to folks because it's important. I want to listen and I want to hear. Just want to reiterate that I'm running because I want to strengthen our education system. I want to create a fair economy, and I want to make sure that our senior citizens are protected. And I am extremely proud to be here today to represent District 22, and with your help, I'm going to be your next state legislator. So I hope I can count on your vote. Actually, I want your vote, and I want to make sure that I have the opportunity to serve you. Thank you.
Well, that's the time we have for today's forum. You've been watching Your Vote Counts, a candidate forum for Legislative House District 22 with Teresa Alonso Leon and Patty Milne. We hope you'll watch our other candidate forums, and you can check the CCT website for times and dates for replays. These forums are a public service to voters to become more acquainted with candidates who hope to lead our city, county, and state governments in the coming years. Your ballots will be mailed on October 20th, and you need to return them either by dropping them off or mailing them in so that they are received by election date of November 8th at 8 p.m. We urge you to make democracy work and be a voter. This is Janet Adkins for the League of Women Voters and CCTV, thanking you and mostly thanking our candidates. Thank you for watching Your Vote Counts.